Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. I was thinking about time zones when my show goes live. Right now it's 2 a.m. in Perth, Australia, 4 a.m. in Sydney and Brisbane. Sorry, I hope I didn't wake you up, my Australian listeners. It's 3 a.m. in Tokyo, but I don't think anyone over there listens. At 8 p.m., there's like an axis of English speakers from Norway to South Africa. 8 p.m. It's like right after dinner. So, and then like London and Madrid, Lisbon, all at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. for them. 6 p.m. in Reykjavik. So all of Europe, I got you at dinner time. I got you at your drive home and dinner. Enjoy your dinner. It's 3 p.m. in like the Halifax area, Newfoundland. A little bit later. It's 1 p.m. for our friends in Chicago in the Midwest. It's 2 p.m. for our friends in Denver and in the Rockies. Right? No, it's noon, right? Yeah. Uh-oh, I lost my place. Yeah, 1 p.m. Chicago in the Midwest. Noon for Denver and the Rockies. And it's 11 a.m. for the douches on the left coast. So I pretty much cover lunchtime in America, dinner in Europe, and the best news of all, the very best news of all, is that this show is morning drive time for Hawaii. It's 8 a.m. So it's 8 a.m. Aloha, Honolulu. Let's take a look at the weather. It's currently 78 degrees. Going to have a high of 82 today and a low of 74. Jesus, it really is paradise, isn't it? Aloha and welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I hope to get 500,000 listeners now from Hawaii in the area. My God, 82 is the high. 74 the low. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. My friends, we're going to have a pig roast tonight. A luau. Damn, the weather sounds nice because it is boiling here today. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. I have a Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. I'd appreciate it very much. You can also follow me on social media over here. I've been looking at the trees lately again. And the trees around here are just horrible for climbing. You know, I remember being a kid and just loved climbing trees. And when I grew up in like Connecticut and upstate New York, there were so many climbable trees. Like every other tree was a climbable tree. And I spent so much time climbing trees. It was a blast, you know. And I moved down to Georgia and it's all pines. It's all pines. And you can't climb pines, you know. And I never saw a fat squirrel in Georgia because they all have this, all the squirrels have this really long driveway. You know, these Georgia pines are really huge. And the only way a guy like me could climb one was either like with spikes and a strap or just to hold onto a sapling as it grew. You know, that's the only way to really climb a pine tree. So Georgia is actually worse than here in Virginia. But when I got to Virginia, I was still disappointed because there's not a whole lot of climbable trees, you know. When I was in Georgia, we only had one climbable tree, and it was in my backyard, and I was always in it. It was the same damn tree. I'd be in my camouflage outfit, and I'm laying in the tree with my gun, and my dad would come outside, and, what are you doing? It's like, I'm a sniper in a tree. It's like, military doesn't do that. It's a good way to get killed. The Japanese tried that in the Second World War. They'd get maybe one or two of us, but then they'd just get lit up by overwhelming firepower because they knew exactly where he was. I'm like, oh. So I stopped playing war by climbing trees. Apparently it's not done. But when I got here to, you know, Virginia, it's like, it's just not, I was disappointed. There's not as many good trees to climb as there were in like Connecticut, upstate New York. I mean, am I the only one that like thinks about stuff like this? It's not like I'm going to climb a tree. I don't know, maybe I would. If there's a good climbable one around, I don't know, there's this one in my neighborhood, but it's on like somebody's property. So I don't want to be, there's some 50-year-old guy climbing my tree in my front yard. 911, what's your emergency? There's a madman in my tree. Maybe it's the show title. What are you doing over there? When we get to the new studio, I'm not going to be able to see what you're up to. So I'm just going to keep going.
I pulled up the weather in Hawaii, but it was late, so now I'm just if you ever reference something on the weather, I just send it up.
Well, let's discuss how nice it is. It's going to be in Hawaii today. We're roasting in this room. 78 degrees right now. It's going to be a high of like 82 and a low of like, what, 76 now? Humidity's pretty high, but I guarantee you the wind's always blowing there. And it's always comfortable. That's why even though it could be 90-degree weather, it's just because so much wind is blowing. It's probably beautiful. Aloha, good morning, Hawaii. May have to change the show to Good Morning Hawaii. I'm sure there's already a show out there like that. Anyway. I was thinking about like wearing masks, like superheroes wearing masks. When Stan Lee created the Fantastic Four, I mean, that was his like ideal version of superheroes. It's got people who did not wear masks. They did not conceal their identity, even though they had superpowers and stuff like that. And it was an interesting concept because every other character had a secret identity: Batman, Superman, so forth. And Superman, the feeblest attempt at a secret identity of them all. But Stan Lee with the Fantastic Four, and even though I don't like the Fantastic Four, they're like, we don't want to hide who we are. And I thought that was interesting. And in many ways, that's how real heroes work. And I think that's the point that Stan Lee was trying to get to. When you wear a mask, it makes people not want to trust you. And it's just like these people walking around in COVID masks still these days. I don't trust you. Why are you concealing your face? Spider-Man may wear a mask, but people may wonder, why are you hiding your mask? Are you a criminal? And so forth. And I was thinking about the real heroes of our world, like you can debate with me about this, but like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, Matt Walsh, Gavin McInnes, people who have faced the slings and arrows of disfavored fortune. When it comes to media and being vilified by, the media and so forth. Hated online, hated in the Twitter sphere and so forth. Somebody tried to shoot to the point where like somebody tries to shoot at Trump, to the point where people are setting Teslas on fire and breaking into like Tesla factories and stuff. Matt Walsh getting death threats, Gavin McInnes getting death threats. They're not wearing a mask. And I don't know if you know about Edgar the puppet. He's the little blue puppet that goes and messes with liberals he's a guy that's wearing a mask. I love his stuff, but he's a guy that's wearing a mask, Some people argue it's like you should do that kind of stuff where you hide your face because it's not very, anyway. It's like maybe your channel will be more successful if you stop showing your freaking face. Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't think that person is a friend if they say something like that. But I was thinking about, why you even wearing a mask? Don't wear a mask. Even you think COVID's still around? Stop wearing a mask. Stop concealing your face. We should make masks illegal to wear. All right. In fact, I think they always were because of bandits. A bunch of people riding into town with the covered faces, and they rob the bank and they ride out of town. It's like, well, we don't really know who they are. That's why masks should be illegal. And why does Spider-Man wear a mask anyway? It's not like his girlfriends all lived. It's not like his friends and family are not always in danger anyway. All right, that'll lead us into the Sinister Six. So I continue with these meetings with the Sinister Six. I met Quentin Ball. Is that his name? Quentin Beck. I'm sorry. I was thinking about that guy. I think he was a Darkhawk villain. He had a Quentin Ball or something like that, or he had a 8-ball head and he had a stick that. So there's some lame villains, but Mysterio is nerdy. Incredibly intelligent, kind of like in his own head too much. Trying to talk with him was like pulling teeth. It was a nightmare. He carries around this notebook with him, and like I was trying to have a conversation with him. He wasn't paying attention, and wasn't it like anniversary of Jaws or something recently? And yeah, I think it was playing on TV, and he was looking at it, and like there's a special effects scene, and he like pulls out this little notebook, starts making notes and stuff, and I'm like, what are you writing? He's like, oh, just a thing for a thing. Geez, Quentin. You're real talkative, aren't you? And so, were talking, you know, I was trying to talk to him, but I mean, he's just weird, nerdy, and I don't know. It's like when I remember being in like band class, and I'm walking down the hall to the band class because we had at band class you had the drama department, the choir department, and then band. So I had to walk past all the theater kids, all the choir kids, and then hung out with the band kids. And we were the coolest. Sorry. Because I was there, damn it. And I was thinking, it's like, you know, Quentin Beck could have been any one of those people. It just, because it's all the weirdos. You know what I mean? That's why I was there. That's why I was hidden deepest in this hallway of weirdos. I was the king of the weirdos. So I get it. I get him. You just wish he was a little bit more social. And people are like, oh, how you know, you're such a, when they speak to me, you know, you're so brilliant and yet social. I was like, I know. But some of these guys who are on the spectrum and like really smart, I mean, it's hard to relate to them. And Quentin's one of these guys. He did talk a little bit about, he's like, he was like, I appreciate you going on about the symbiotes. And they're serious. They're a serious thing. But Quentin was like, you do understand that there's spider people from other universes. There's like a myriad of different types of spider people. Take Spider-Gwen, for example, Mysterio said. And he starts telling me about Spider-Gwen. It's like, this is like Gwen Stacy. And she's like a teenage girl and she has spider powers. And like, you may run into her being a member of the Sinister Six. And there's all sorts of stuff like this. There's all sorts of kids with spider powers running around in the Spider-Verse. You know what I'm saying? Kids, young girls. And now they're trying to add insult to injury by forcing us to beat up a teenage girl. And I think Mysterio has a hell of a point. I don't want to go too far into the land of, you know, how many. He told me that I don't really believe him. He told me that there's a pig dressed up like Spider-Man. All right. Spider-Ham. What, Spider-Ham? You've heard of him? And I was like, are you serious? What do you do with him? And he's like, bacon, pork chops. It's like, but aren't you worried like maybe he's infested with spiders? It's like, I have like a egg sac in him somewhere inside the pig. Quentin and I, you know, I wish he would like, he didn't really talk much about this. He's like, I don't know, just bacon, I guess. Spider bacon. So, I don't know. Yeah, this is kind of daunting. I mean, I'm glad there's like these autistic geniuses like Quentin Beck on the Sinister Six to help protect my dumb ass, because I don't know how to fight. You know, what am I gonna do? Beat up some kids, even if they have spider powers? I don't know what to do. But I have to learn all this stuff. I got these books. I got all these books I got to read. It's kind of getting to be a pain in the butt for the Sinister Six, but I'm very glad to be a part of it, and I'll update you as my probationary period continues. All right, you want to talk about AI pics of me? I got such a kick last week about playing with old AI pics of me, because like I said, like AI pics are an obvious lie, and you can have a lot of fun with them, and it's a fun way to like even revisit old pictures of yourself. Like the pictures that I use are pictures that people have seen of me, you know, before. And so this first picture is from the 90s. It's when I was working in Puerto Rico building houses for World Changers. And it's when I caught my first Eevee. I was kind of forced into Pokemon Go. And he's all grown up now. He's a Jolteon. And it's the first time I met him. He's been around a while. And so, but in the real picture, I was holding a little dog that this mother had just dropped a litter of puppies, and I was holding one of them. Anyway, people are like, "Oh, that's very sweet of you." Plus, with that, what I'm wearing, I kind of look like a Pokemon trainer that you'd run across. Anyway, let's go to this next picture. This is when Billie Eilish and I were hanging out, and I miss her. I mean, I just think about her and just, whew, maybe it's the heat in the room, but she is gorgeous. Her music's terrible. But this is a picture of her kissing me on the cheek. I was taking a selfie, and she kissed me on the cheek. Something happened to our glasses, and it took a long, long time for us to untangle our glasses. I don't even know how it got like that. That was a mess. It was like 15, 20 minutes trying to get that apart. We don't know what happened. Excuse me. And the last pick I did was when I was in high school. And I remember I think I've told the story where I was a model for Ralph Lauren, and I ran into Kerri Russell in Montreal, and we hung out. We had a little thing and stuff like that. And so I invited her in high school to come and go to like homecoming with me. And so she came and went to homecoming with me. And that's me and Kerri Russell. That's the last time we, how should I put this? Fooled around.
That's crazy considering the promise ring she did.
No, that's my class ring. Yeah, that's my class ring. It's the only time I wore it was when I was in high school. I think maybe a year after, I was like, I don't like rings. And I was like, I'm never going to date again. Because Kerri Russell was the pinnacle. I'll never get that good again. So I'm like, I'm not going to wear rings ever. Till Kerri Russell comes back to me. Baby, come back. This is why AI is fun. Also, it adds like a flavor to our gaming sessions. Like I did this picture. I found like a Baroness cosplayer in a bikini. And I put it, said, throw some military guys parachuting in behind her. And boom, I got an image that I sent to everybody before the games. Like, hey, we playing tonight? And they're like, who is this chick? Why are we parachuting into a beach? What's wrong with the beach? But it added a little flavor, and that was the Duchess. She was very much like the Baroness in the campaign. And so that's why I play with the AI, is because back when we were playing role-playing games before AI, it was all imagination, but now we have this tool to add a little something to it, you know?
It wasn't all imagination. We would hand draw pictures.
Yeah, sometimes we'd hand draw them, and what was it, like Hero Machine? We'd use those to like assemble something. But I don't know. I think this is way better, you know? Because you'd be there in the Hero Machine for a while, and you'd get nothing close to this. Or even put Kerri Russell next to you in a homecoming picture you went stag to. Oh, that's not beer. All right, let's do a movie review, and then we get in the news. So I saw the 1990 movie Robocop 2 again recently. And it's been a while since I've seen it. And so it kind of, looking at it with today's politics and what's going on with the police and so forth, I kind of look at it with new eyes. First of all, there's a ton of child criminals in this movie. Like underage child criminals, you know. Just like, you know, I don't want to beat up Spider-Gwen, you know. But there's a scene where a Little League team is overrunning a shop. And they're like beating on the owners. And the team's coach is like loading stolen merchandise into the van. And their kids are just, you're like, Robocop, come kill these kids. But that's not what happens, you know? But the issue is like there's a ton of underage kids who are committing crimes in lawless Detroit. And that's the point. It's like this crime has gotten so out of control that even Little League teams are doing these flash mobs, all right, rolling into a store, just overpowering them with numbers, taking what they want, and leaving. This has been happening for a long time. You remember the Summer of Love? They were doing this all the time in 2020. Just flash mob in a store, taking stuff, and you just wish Robocop would come down the street. Don't move, creep. Start shooting them. You don't have to shoot them all, Robocop. Shoot a couple, they'll start getting the picture. Anyway, child criminals, crime is out of control, and a liberal female seduces the boss of OCP, takes over the Robocop program, and introduces a crazy set of liberal bureaucratic laws. She goes to this board and says, what kind of things can we add to Robocop's directives? And so he gets this huge list of directives because he's not talking about the environment enough and shit like that. And so he shows up at this, where these little leaguers have ransacked this store. Lewis is out of the car ready to take care of business like a good human. But Robocop is sitting there cowed into inaction because of bureaucracy, literally bound up by red tape. Well, not literally, but figuratively bound up by red tape in his mind. He's still sitting in the car. Lewis is calling for him. Murphy, what are you doing? Get out here. And then he comes out and starts preaching about like nutrition, you know. And the kids just run. They leave. They get away. All because some woman took over the Robocop program and changed the list of directives. All right, prime directives, Robocop prime directives. I want to find out the Robocop prime directives. But it's a friggin' TV show. But the original prime directives, there's 3 of them, right? And then the 4th one was the OCP thing. That was a problem. But they're to serve the public trust, protect the innocent, and uphold the law. Those are the 3 laws of robotics that Robocop lived by. And then there was the 4th one, which was OCP. And then they added like hundreds.
It was serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law, and any attempt to arrest a senior officer of OCP results in shutdown.
Yeah. The 4th one is obviously extraneous. It's obviously a problem and a conflict of interest. All right. And that was the issue in the first Robocop. But the issue in the second Robocop is this bureaucratic list of things that he can, must, or, cannot do.
For example, restrain hostile feelings, promote positive attitudes, suppress aggressiveness, promote pro-social values, avoid destructive behavior, be accessible.
I don't know if they can hear you, but yeah, be accessible is shit like a... You mic'd?
That's why I was yelling.
Oh, okay. But even then, I don't think people can hear you. But anyway, they changed these directives, and he literally had to stop because he's sitting there going through like, what do I got to do? What can I do? What do I have to do? And so it's kind of like a metaphor for what's going on in the police these days. When you're talking about cities like Chicago or Minneapolis and stuff like that, where these cops don't really want to do anything because they know they're going to end up on the internet. They're going to be vilified. I guess it's not the same as they're going to be shut down like Robocop, right? Now here's the other problem. It's like they started to realize that there was too many directives in his head, and that was the problem. So Robocop figures, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll electrocute myself. Besides, I hate being not a human being, so I'll risk it. This sucks. So he holds on to an electrical power station, shocks himself and reboots, and then all of a sudden he reboots with no directives at all. Is that better? I don't think so. So, I think the first 3 original prime directives for Robocop are just fine. Anything more, and it then becomes a metaphor for policing in the United States today. All right. Not only that, but this female, these are the kind of promote pro-social values. Isn't it just some hippy-dippy nonsense? Participate in group activities. And he's trying to meet all these goals, just like your AI is trying to meet all these things at the same exact time. And so it's just, Robocop's just a spinning loop. Loading. And that's not the way you do Cyborg. All right, and then this woman who's running things, she decides to start recruiting drug dealers and murderers into the Robocop program because probably because she thinks like a drug addict is easy to control with drugs, which is what she ends up doing. And it's almost even a metaphor for it's just nice lawyers like, oh, these poor misunderstood criminals. Why don't you just give them a second chance, put them back out on the street? It's like, no, I want to create a crazy droid, drug-fueled droid to fight the good Robocop, because the good Robocop, you can't control his biology. A drug addict, you can control their biology. All right, and so all the metaphors aside, it is, for 1990, a pretty good droid fight movie. And back in 1990, getting something like that was good. It was good to have something like that, because Robocop was an incredibly unique thing at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of mech stuff, like with robot fights. I mean, we had Voltron and stuff like that, but live action droid fights. I mean, we love Star Wars and everything, but R2 versus C-3PO, people would pay to see that. Robocop 2, 1990, 10 of 13 stars. Pretty good, but it's still 1990s special effects. Decent plot, with an interesting metaphor about crime and punishment. All right, let's do the news. Peter Weller, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got to talk about a sad story in Texas. I could close our Robocop Prime directives. Hello, watchers. Wall of water. Texan recounts catastrophic midnight flood surge that swept away 27 girls at Camp Mystic. Eyewitness recounts lightning illuminated wall of water that claimed more than 100 lives in the Texas Hill County. I don't want to make this all about me and us, but we got some serious rain last night. Knocked down some stuff. You had like power issues in the neighborhood, right? Yeah. So, I mean, we got a taste of what might have happened, there, but I think we're lucky we got a good runoff around this area.
26 feet.
26 feet. Yeah, 45. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's like came up 26 feet in 45 minutes. It's so fast that very little you could do about it. So quit looking to blame people, all right? Shit happens. All right, pitch black night. Locals just 5 miles upriver from Camp Mystic in Hunt, Texas, watched the ominous approach of a deadly flood wall, illuminated only by the flashes of lightning, as it surged towards the all-girls Christian camp. More than 100 people lost their lives, and nearly twice as many went missing in the Hill County surge that struck in the early hours of July 4th. Camp Mystic confirmed 27 fatalities among its campers and counselors as of Tuesday. A woman who wished only to be identified as Shelby told Fox News Digital she was visiting a home on the Guadalupe River in Hunt. We were really high up, and there was water coming into the garage. At about 3 a.m., my sister-in-law said that we needed to go outside and look at the river, and that we couldn't see it outside of the flashes of lightning. Hunt kind of prides itself on having low upward lighting so that you can see the stars. Only through the lightning flashes could we see how high the water was, which makes sense as to why it happened so fast. So the city keeps the city lights low so you can see the stars? Is that what they're talking about? Huh, that's interesting. By the time the family got to their back porch, the water was all the way up the cliffside. You couldn't see our dam. You couldn't see any of the trees, and even the tops of them were down by the water. Massive cypress trees folded over because the water was rushing so fast and it was so high. The power of water, ladies and gentlemen. Family stood watching the water rise, fearing it could take their home. All right, this is just one account. I'm sure there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of accounts. The issue is obviously the dead people, missing people. Talking like up to 200 people missing. That death toll is going to rise, and it's terrible, And it's unfortunate that there's people out there who want to turn this into a political thing. They took this and immediately said, "Oh, if you, this is Trump's America," that kind of thing. People on the left saying, "Oh, this is what you get for voting for Trump." He cut budget to the weather service or whatever. But no, the weather service did its job. Okay. And so there are other people fussing. I've heard black chicks whining. They're like, "Oh, there's a bunch. You only care because there's a bunch of white girls. A bunch of white girls went missing." And it's like, you know what? Do you really think that if it was all a bunch of black girls that got washed away, that the media wouldn't cover it? Do you think this is 1944? They absolutely, every time a black person gets a hangnail, the media will cover it and make it a national issue. All right? It's about people. It's not about your fucking skin. You're the one that's obsessed with your skin. All right? You want to blame somebody? I would say you start at the micro, go to the macro. Is that right? Am I saying it that right? Blake DARPA. Okay. That's he's skipping a bunch of tears. I would say that you need to look at the people who are running the camp, the adults that were watching those girls. All right. When you have that many lives under your responsibility, you need to have a 24-hour watching to make sure, number one, these girls aren't sneaking out and going smoking cigarettes behind the barn or whatever they do. You need that. Number two, you need somebody monitoring the news and weather situation. So if something dangerous starts and you get the alert, you can wake everybody up and say, we need to get the hell out of Dodge. All right. And so I would say it's probably irresponsible of the people who are watching all those kids. Other people were warned. Other people could get away. Granted, it came up really fast. And I would say if you want to blame somebody, go all the way to the top and blame God. All right. He can handle your rage. All right. But if you don't want to deal with that, you can go to the next level up. You can say the state hasn't properly dealt with the flooding problems in the area. Maybe they need to do something with the Department of Public Works or something. Help drainage around these areas. You can go up another level too and say, hey, maybe it's a Pete Buttigieg, Department of Transportation, Department of the Interior. You could even go up and blame Trump, but really, what did he do? Summon? Like, oh, great Lord Darpas dumped the rain upon the Valley of Texas with all the white people who voted for me. What? What? Living in a liberal's mind must be fascinating, just to get a peek. You think maybe in heaven, I was like, can I get just a little peek what was going on in these fucking people's heads? I come out, Stockholm Syndrome and shit. Anyway, I know it's a sad story, and everyone's looking for something to blame, but sometimes, people are like, oh, we're destroying the planet, and like, we are losing versus the planet, okay? Friggin' hippies. Yeah?
How many pounds
Don't talk with your mouth full.
has the planet taken out this year?
Exactly. How many lives has weather and the planet taken out every year? We are losing. It's millions to zero for us versus Earth. You know what I'm saying? Possibly billions. All right. What's this next story? Not too bad. We don't have all the lights on. Kept the AC and fans on, so it's not too bad in here. The audio may not be as good, but screw you guys. I'm not trying to sweat. We're good, EK says. All right. NATO jets scrambled amid Russia's largest drone attack on the Ukraine. Zelensky calls for stronger sanctions after 728 drones target multiple Ukrainian cities. So NATO jets were scrambled overnight as Russia carried out its largest drone attack yet on Ukraine, launching more than 700 drones, officials said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the new massive Russian attack on our cities involved 728 drones of various types, including over 300 Shaheds and 13 missiles, Kinzhals and Icekanders. Icekander, that's a pretty cool name for a missile. He went on to say, most of the targets were shot down. Our interceptor drones were used. Dozens of enemy target drones were downed. What the hell just happened? We're downed. We are scaling up this technology. Multiple mobile fire groups were also active. They downed dozens as well. I thank all our warriors for their precision. Ukraine's Air Force said the assault mainly targeted the northwestern city of Lutsk, and according to the preliminary data, air defenses neutralized 718 enemy air attack vehicles, 303 were shot down by fire, 415 were lost in location. So, lost in location. That means they probably disabled electronic countermeasures. As of the attack was unfolding, the military of Poland, which borders Ukraine, said Ukraine, Polish, and Allied aviation has begun operating in our airspace in accordance with all applicable procedures. All available forces and resources will be the Polish Armed Forces. All right. Here's the thing. Do we really need to be a part of this? You know, I don't like NATO. I don't think we should be in NATO. NATO was created by saying that, hey, Russia is a communist empire that is expansionist, and Russia may not be quote unquote communist anymore, but they're still expansionist. And this is the point with Ukraine. If Ukraine gets taken, and I think that's going to happen, if Ukraine gets taken, then Poland is concerned. All these other, what were called Soviet bloc countries, all of them are concerned that they're going to start falling into the Russian Empire as well. All right. Back after the Second World War, America was very interested in stopping the spread of communism through the world. And although Russia is not communist anymore, you know, communism is still a problem. It's very much a big problem here at home, domestically now, because of all these liberals and so forth. And say what you want about J. Edgar Hoover. I mean, he kept a lot of communism out of America. And so when we talk about like the Korean War, you know, that was trying to stop the expansion of communism into Korea. And then in Vietnam, we went to Vietnam to stop the spread of communism in Vietnam because communism is bad. It's bad for the people. It ends up in dead people, you know. But we lost our will in Vietnam, and now we don't want to. And Russia knows it. Russia knows it. They don't. So they're expansionist. And
communism,
what?
Communism only works if people aren't in charge.
Communism only works if it's not people doing it. Yeah, I suppose so. I guess you could get a bunch of AI programs to do it. But people are fallible, and that's why communism doesn't work. So, damn it,
sorry.
There are people who say, like when they watch and they start listening, they see me start listening to you. They're like, oh no, please don't lose your train of thought, madman. Ah, shit. And that's how I feel. Thank you, EK. And so. Russia's expansionist, and they know we don't have the will to really stop that kind of thing anymore. So, I don't know what's going to happen. What's that? Hey, and then Rocky beat Drago. Yeah, I've seen a lot of changes in this room. And if I could change... that if you could change, maybe we could all change. I wonder if I'll get a copyright strike for that one. Did I do it? Do it too well? The only other voice I could do really well is the guy from Silence of the Lambs. Oh, wait a minute. Was she a graping old fat person? People are like, really? That's pretty good. Uh-oh, I'm not getting... this link has gone dead. Socialist NYC mayoral candidate Mamdani once called to seize luxury homes to house the homeless during COVID. So it's, like I said, more communism, more trying to... shoot, why'd the link go dead? Yeah, maybe there's something wrong with the article. But it's basically, you know, Zoran Mamdani. He's just trying, let's do communism in New York, see how it plays out. Because since nobody's really tried it. Communism, socialism, what is it like? I think socialism is like lazy communism. Anyway, Stallone, who was amazing and over the top. No, he wasn't. What was that, Rhinestone? I remember I think I was talking with Mo about that once. Like in Rhinestone, where he was like a stand-up comedian. He was better in that than over the top. All right, let's talk about Gary Coleman for a bit. And getting good at it, if you will. Remember when he went on Arsenio Hall? I don't know how well your memory works, but I remember him going on Arsenio Hall asking him, hey, how's things with the ladies? You know it is. I go out with a few ladies, and when you're going out, and with the ladies and, getting good at it, if you will, and it's just like, Gary Coleman, who are you fooling? Anyway, let's talk about the story. Gary Coleman's ex knows more about his death than she's telling, says a former FBI agent. Gary Coleman's ex-wife, who has been accused of involvement in his 2010 death by some of the late star's loved ones, was surprised. We may have robbed him, but we didn't kill him. She was surprised by her lie detector test results. Shannon Price took a polygraph test administered by a retired FBI special agent, so it's not admissible at all. The veteran polygraph examiner, George Olivio, for A&E's lie detector truth or deception for a TV show. 39-year-old was questioned about the details surrounding Coleman's fatal fall. Quote, when I say When I say that she failed in the exam, I'm not saying she deliberately, with willful intent, killed him in cold blood. I'm not saying that at all. Olivia told Fox News Digital. I don't know what happened in that house. All I know is that why she failed, and there's more to the story than she's telling. It could be that maybe she was there. This is just his speculation. So let's get at these questions. Below are the questions he asked. Did you ever strike Gary during your relationship? No, she answered. Inconclusive results. Did not score high enough to pass. Did not score low enough to fail. Okay, I'll stop reading those parenthetical additions. Did you initially decide to withhold help from Gary when he fell? No. Did you physically cause Gary's fall? Did you physically cause Gary to fall that day? No. Failed with deception indicated to those relevant questions. Yikes. Yeah. Do you know there's a 911 call that she made? I don't know if you, I don't know, got some time and you want to go down rabbit holes. If you're off chasing rabbits, go look for that 911 call for Gary Coleman's death, because she's on. They're like, can you administer mouth to mouth to him at all? You can hear him like groaning and asking for help in the background. She's like, no, I get grossed out by blood and stuff like that. It's your husband, you know, and it's what you reading the comments again. I'm kind of feeling sad for Gary Coleman because, you know, the kid has this disease, which that, I don't know. I think they'd arrest her right then and there, don't you think? Yeah. So Gary Coleman, you know, he had this disease, and he's like, as a kid, you know, a young adult, he's making money, and it's specifically because he has this disease, and that's because he's mature enough to be an actor who can play a child. And so, but his family like took a whole bunch of his money, you know, and he's got this disease, and it's like, you got to realize, it's like, there's no way you can have a real relationship with an adult human-sized woman, because what kind of woman is going to be attracted to a man who looks like a little boy? I'm sorry, this is the kind of life where you kind of have to remain celibate. And even if you get married to some woman who says she loves you and she wants to marry you, and you may think that, oh, I'm kind of famous, maybe she'll get a little famous too. I don't know. Maybe this is why she's did what she did. She's hoping to get famouser than Gary Coleman. So the guy wanted to be loved, got murdered for it. He may have fell, but she certainly didn't help as much as I think she could have. Anyway, poor guy. I said poor kid, but that's the point. He was a grown person, an adult. All right, let's get two lighter stories, then we'll get out of here. I'm starting to feel heat creep in now. What do you got? Oh, I found it, huh? No, let's go to lighter stories. Communists, you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, man buys locked mini fridge after food thefts and gets called weird and selfish by coworkers.
Dude, stop eating my food.
Stop eating my food, yeah. It's like EK and I were talking about the story earlier, and I was like, whoever called you selfish, that's who's been stealing your food. Yeah. An employee's lunch theft woes and his drastic solution recently drew attention online in a tale that other office workers may relate to or understand. In a viral post on Reddit, the employee said his workplace offers a communal kitchen with one fridge. Quote, over the past month, my lunch has been stolen 5 times. That's insane, yeah. The Reddit user said, not just random stacks, entire homemade meals I bring from home, gone without a trace. See, you know why he says it that way? Is because if you brought in snacks and somebody stole some of your snacks, we're kind of okay with that. As long as you don't like take all of my snacks, you know? But when you got like a Tupperware container in it, it's got like some Salisbury steak and some rice, you know, and you're like, where'd it go? What do you do even? Here's my question. If you steal someone's Tupperware and you eat their lunch, you know, like literally, not on the street way. You eat their lunch. What do you do with the Tupperware? Do you take it home? Do you wash it in the sink and leave it in the kitchenette? Do you leave it in the sink? Wash it and leave it in the sink in the kitchenette. I'm not the kind of guy who would steal someone's Tupperware lunch. But what I'm saying is that if I did, I would be the guy who would wash it and leave it in the kitchenette sink. I'm just a nice guy that way. Or what if you're like walking around the office and you find like an empty Tupperware thing which like has all the like gravy and stuff still in it. It's like shoved in between to like bookcases or something like that. You find it. Would you wash it and put it in the sink? Imagine the drama that would cause. Because it's like a week later. You're like, what's that smell? You know, it's like, oh, there's mold inside. The complexities of stealing people's lunch at work. Anyway, he went on to say, it's not just frustrating, it gets expensive and messes up my day. Right, because now I got to get lunch. In an office group chat, the worker asked the unknown lunch thief to stop, but no one took responsibility. His solution? The desk jockey bought a mini fridge and placed it under his desk, complete with a lock just for extra peace of mind. Since then, no more stolen lunches. You don't say! The solution was not well received. Redditor reported that one of his coworkers confronted him and called the fridge weird and selfish. I guess they're hangry.
Can you buy X-Lax in powdered form?
X-Lax, yeah, that's one way to do it. X-Lax in powdered form. That'll teach him a lesson. You wouldn't have to buy the fridge. You know, it's probably cheaper than the fridge, yeah. She said it made me look paranoid and not part of the team. There's your thief right there. The original poster recalled, and I said I was tired of my food being stolen. This is the only solution that worked. He added, she said I should have just brought stuff I wouldn't care about losing, like snacks and microwave meals, if I was so worried. Look.
Trying to get her to quit. Trying to get her to quit.
I don't know. It's crazy, dude. Oh my God. Snacks. It's like if you're going to get robbed. So carry some snacks for the person who robs you. Maybe it'll be easier. Anyway, since then, the employee has been subject to snide remarks about locking up his lunch. He said he started to feel like a weirdo in the office just for protecting my stuff. He asked if he was wrong for locking up his lunch. His post attracted over 20,000 upvotes, who almost unanimously sided with him. Of course, it's your frickin' lunch. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. What? That's what I mean. It's like that girl was hangry. She didn't get the lunch. She's been missing lunches because she probably didn't think ahead about her lunches. She's irresponsible, and that's the person who's been stealing your lunches. Now, because she hasn't changed her behavior, she's hangry all the time. It's like, why isn't he bringing me lunch anymore? I wonder if, like, maybe she thinks she's in, like, a relationship with him. Or maybe that's how the conversation went. She came up to him. When you lock up your lunch, it makes you seem weird and selfish. And you and I, we are done. Like, what are you talking about? It's over between us. Like, what? You don't want to be part of this. And then, like, another girl's walking by. Oh my God, you're breaking up with Sarah? Breaking up with her? She says you've been sharing your lunch with her because you loved her. She's been eating my lunch in the break room in front of you, and and you bought the fact that we're in a relationship, and that's why it's okay. That's a good cover story. I don't know. Maybe I should be a thief. I'm pretty creative.
Go to random offices.
Yeah.
Go to random offices, break up with people and eat their lunch.
Yeah, break up with them. Yeah, you find their name on it. You come in there like a pissed off girlfriend. Where is Jerry? Where is he? And the guy stands up. He's like, your wife needs to stop calling me. Run out of there after eating his lunch. Well, I guess we know how to get free lunch. All right. Let's go to this last story. Rare Christian cross among spectacular 1,000-year-old Viking treasures found by metal detectors. I know I'm nerdy. I like stuff like this. Archaeologists recently unearthed a hoard of early medieval treasures on the banks of an inlet in northern Germany, all thanks to a metal detectorist. I don't know if I like that word. State Archaeology Department of Schleswig-Holstein, ALSH, we'll call it that from now on, announced the discovery in a press release in late May. The hoard, dating back roughly 1,000 years, was found in the shores of Schlei, an inlet in the Baltic Sea. Officials said the area is once significant Viking-era trading post of Hayabuth. I don't know what words are harder to say, the German ones or the Norse ones. They are hard. Unless they have strange like numbers and stuff in their alphabet. It's weird. The hoard was originally flagged by a metal detectorist named Arjen Spicewinkle. I like that last name. Who reported his finds to the ALSH. A targeted follow-up search with additional detectorists helped narrow down the location of the find, they said in a statement. Subsequently, systematic excavation by the ALSH, together with volunteer helpers, recovered the objects. Pictures show focused volunteers digging through the soil in search of a treasure hoard, which consisted of over 200 artifacts. 200 artifacts. In this case, the hoard includes 200 objects made mostly of silver, hack silver, fragments of Arabic coins, dirhams, bar pieces, and jewelry, statement noted. Particularly noteworthy is a delicate cross pendant, an early testament to the beginning of Christianization in the region. The ALSH also noted that the hoard finds typically consist of buried or submerged objects that were either hidden to protect them from others or laid down as offerings. So it could have been an offering, could have been a hoard. Ceramic shard and a whetstone were also found at the site. Officials believe may be possible indications of a previously unknown settlement. The find offers a fascinating insight into the history of the 10th century, a time of trade, cultural exchange, and religious transformation. Viking Age lasted roughly from 880 to 1050 AD. And I was thinking about this crucifix that was found, 1,000-year-old crucifix, and how enduring that symbol is, and like how important it is, even to me today. It's the same symbol that been thousands of years, going back that far. Imagine like running into that guy, like if you ran into that guy on the streets of Sveltheim, what's a Trondheim or something like that, Somethingheim. You ran into him, not necessarily today, but in his time, and you saw the crucifix. I could sit there and maybe probably talk to him about Jesus, about religion, have something in common with him. And then he'd be like, I gotta go. Yeah, we're gonna go rape and pillage and this. Like, okay. I don't know if I really got through to you with this conversation, but God bless. And that's the point. They were sinners just like I am, and now so. And when it comes to like the cross, to Christianity, to the faith, you're aiming at the highest possible human ideal and knowing you're not going to make it. That's why that's what the verse, I think, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God is all about, is that we strive for that. You strive for the human perfection of spirit and morality, but we're going to fall short of it. And it's the same kind of thing used by Vikings and madmen in our century. So I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. This is obviously the end of the show. We got the thingies? Okay. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. I'd appreciate that as well. And if you do that, I just be sure to include a mailing address, and I'll send you a sticker pack. I got some sticker packs I'll send out. Also, you can follow me on social media over here on X, or as I call it, Twitter, at DNALETSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. That way, it's supposed to say like Shock Monkey Radio at Wasteland. It's kind of like a mirror, like the A is a mirror. Anyway, I overthought that one. Or at SLRobbins13 on Instagram. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman. And is it Te Amo or Te Quiero? Te Amo, I think, is for... Well, Te Amo, I think, is for amorous, for like sexual attraction. So I think it's Te Quiero. Te Quiero.